So Joe thinks he can show how the sausage is made with artists when he does his "What's your writing style?"
Yeah.
And it really is whatever works. You know what I mean? Versus we just had Anthony Kiedis on the other side, and he basically said the same thing, which is interesting to what Dr. Phil says. Is all these guys, you have to listen to your collaborators.
Yeah.
Like that sounds so easy, but to actually listen when they're talking about, well, they didn't talk about, but if you're listening to someone, but you're just formulating what you're going to say back, are you really listening? So if you're trying to write a song and you're just thinking about what you want to make, are you really listening to the other ideas?
I mean, I always find the collaboration on a song odd in itself.
Who actually does what?
Well, yeah, I mean, listen, I've never obviously written a song because I'm a fucking moron, but like, I can assume that like if you just put pen to paper and you're just writing words, obviously someone then has to interpret that into some sort of music.
Well, that's how it is when we were talking about, I think on the throwback, Elton John saying Blackout, a guy was writing the lyrics and he was doing the music.
Well, and I also want to know too,
It's almost sharing a consciousness for those things to work out so good when a hit song is.
Well, I think like with Elton John, sorry to step in there, Matt. I think with Elton John, he had this guy, Barry Tobin, right?
They're his head writer.
Who, when you look at the lyrics of the songs, they're fucking terrible. Like they don't make any sense. They're like moronic. But Elton John managed to take that, even with those terrible ass lyrics, and make these masterpieces out of them. And that's the real testament to Elton John.
well, and it's
100%.
interesting too, because
It's magical.
I would always have thought that someone in the studio would be playing a little riff that would really be catchy, and then you would be like, hold on, let me write something.
That's how I figured too.
But then you hear Anthony Kiedis be like, well, I just had this poem that was like a throwaway
But
in
now
my
that
book.
you think about it, that's more likely.
I see them both as being likely, to
But
be honest.
if you watch the Beatle doc,
Yeah.
Get Back, you see Paul McCartney write a song over the course of 3 days. Like
Yeah.
he starts with the music, and then he starts going, no words make sense. Just how he thinks he wants
Where
it to go.
it should go. That's
and
neat.
then he gets words, and then one word doesn't work, and then it turns out that Winslow, Arizona. No, that's not the right song. Anyway, it's Get Back. He figures out a lyric works with the location that he didn't know. And it's like, oh, that's the word. So there's all sorts of ways. They mentioned Mike Patton. You guys remember Faith No More? You probably don't. But they were sort of rock rap on their own. You remember?
I didn't like them.
Epic? Yeah.
I know Faith No More. I did not like them.
At all. Not one song.
Not one song. I did not like them.
So what was cool about Mike Patton is he was always, and to his detriment, like an like all music sucks. He just shit on all cultures, like even Nirvana or whatever. At the time, he was just fuck this, which you wanted in your artists that did the great songs you did, like a disaffected Kurt Cobain sort of type. You know what I mean? You never liked Nirvana.
I like Nirvana, but I hate the idea of someone getting into music and being like, all music sucks. That seems like such a weird flex.
But it is, but it's what you. Oh, they're so badass. They don't even want to be. They don't even care.
How many times though do you hear an artist be like, "I only listen to my own shit. I don't know what anybody else is doing." You know what I mean?
That's totally different. But if you ask them, did you listen to music growing up? Did someone inspire you? I would assume that almost all of them say, yeah, for sure. Because I understand that once you're in music, it's like in comedy. I could understand why if you're in comedy deeply, you would never watch a special because you would just not want to ever, like that sort of thing. But
they probably didn't invent music is what you're saying.
Yeah, well, the idea that like you would stop watching comedy makes sense, but you would be like, oh yeah, but I watched everything comedic growing up. I don't know.
But James sort of seems to himself to be like an anti-hero of music. Like, I don't make music for popular people. Like, it's sort of, he's almost like, why would someone like me? And then I don't know what you're doing it, but whatever he did.
And we agree. We don't get it.
Yeah, when I listen to Tool, I don't understand.
It was very aggressive. I had friends who loved Tool.
Really?
Hold on.
What was a Tool song? Give me a song.
Sober.
Give it to me. I don't know.
Why can't we all be sober?
I have never heard that song in my life.
seen
Give
the
me
video.
give me another one.
Listen, Simon.
That's it. That's the only one you know.
I feel like Tool is like one of those bands where they like you're either a huge fucking fan or you just hate them.
You're either a toolbox or you're not.
Yeah.
But he's saying like, why would a Bridget Fonda or not Bridget Fonda,
British fantasy.
Gwyneth Paltrow or Brad Pitt come see me? I'd just be like, what's up with that? And Joe's like, well, maybe you're being judgmental. I was like, yeah, I guess I am, because he sees himself as just an anti-hero of music, like that plastic thing, but he is it as well.
I mean, that's the
best version, I guess.
honest thing about him is that he sees himself as
He says
nobody
he's-
would want to come see him.